How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back with another FPL video, and today we're going to be taking a look at our Team Watch series, continuing on with Chelsea, where we take a look at their attacking, defensive assets as well, and we're going to take a look at what they're doing in the transfer market now that they've had their takeover be successful by Todd Boehly, and we'll see if they're going to be splashing the cash and seeing if they can add some reinforcements this summer. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you haven't done so already, it greatly helps out the channel, and turn those notification bells on so you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Drop us a follow over on Twitter so you can keep up to date with any and all FPL news, and give us a follow over on Twitch so you can see when we go live for our preview and deadline streams. We will be starting those back up in probably around like 3 weeks time, I think. It's getting close. We're almost halfway through July, and the season starts on August 5th. So make sure to keep us locked and loaded for your FPL content, because we will be there, and we'll be putting out the content all throughout this preseason as well as when the season gets going. So, without further ado, let's talk about the most talked about part about Chelsea and their defensive assets. So Chelsea pretty much have a favorable run all the way up to the World Cup. They have a couple fixtures here and there which aren't the greatest. So like Spurs at home, I believe they play Liverpool, Leicester at home are among those. But for the most part, pretty straightforward. And if Chelsea can keep it all together, I think defense is where we're going to look for them first, as Thomas Tuchel held a very, very good clean sheet record for a team that also has potency from the back as well. So some of the players that I'm potentially looking at is Edouard Mendy, who's come in at a cut price at 5 million. So the goalkeepers have all gone down, and Mendy's gone down by 1 million. I think that may be due to his points tally that he received, which wasn't as good as Lloris or Alisson or Ederson, but he still plays for Chelsea, so he could be a fantastic pick at 5 million. If we look at the season stats above me, Chelsea 94 big chances, 383 shots inside the box, 65.06 XG non-penalty. A lot of those chances that are going to be created, especially those big chances, are going to come from the two fullbacks. I went to the wrong shoulder there. I went this way initially. They're over on that side. It's Ben Chilwell and Reece James, of course. If they don't sign a direct replacement and Alonso were to be released or basically, kind of sold to Barcelona, which it seems like he might be, Chilwell and James at 6 million could be an absolute steal. I mean, they could be literally ridiculous. I mean, look at James's last 4 matches. You could see that he has 12 chances created, 3 shots inside the box. That's just crazy. I mean, he's just basically playing as an attacking player that plays in a front three. That's the kind of stats that you would expect from a wide player who's quite creative. And Reece James and Chilwell are very, very good at both creation and goal scoring ability, coming in and around the back post, and typically they might even assist each other, which could be very, very good on the double up. I'm definitely looking at them. I think they've come in way underpriced, and we could see someone like them if they do really well off the start, because they play Everton away, which is pretty good. Leeds away in game week 3. Spurs at home. I mean, anything could happen there against the former manager Antonio Conte. I think these guys could be potentially shooting up in price. If they start off well, let's say Chelsea gets a clean sheet, Chilwell scores, James scores, maybe they assist each other, something crazy like that, they could be 6.3 million by the end of game week 1 basically, and just before game week 2 starts. They could go up in price a few times if you don't start with them. So I'm potentially looking at least one of them, maybe 2, maybe even all 3 of these guys on the graphic with Mendy, Chilwell, and James, and just go for the triple clean sheet potential. Could be very good and could be a massive differential if it were to pay off. So that's going to do it for the defensive assets. Let's see what Chelsea are looking like attacking wise. Now you'll notice somebody that isn't in a Chelsea shirt, but I thought I'd mention him, and we'll get to him in just a bit. But we have a lot of 8 million price bracket players for Chelsea. We have Mason Mount, who's come in at an 8 million midfielder. He was very influential across Chelsea's entire last season. I mean, if you look at the last 4 matches that he played, 1 big chance, 11 chances created, 12 shots inside the box. He was on fire towards the end of the season, was Mason Mount. And I think his price increase is definitely worth it. And one of the 8 million midfielders that everyone's probably going to have their eye on, and he might go overlooked because a lot of managers are going to look at the likes of Reece James or Chilwell, or in the 8 million bracket, they're going to go for Diaz or Saka or, you know, somebody like that over Mason Mount. But he could be your steady Eddie, as it were, just kind of slowly trickling the points in. So I would say he's probably one to keep an eye on in preseason and see if he's potentially playing more advanced. There's thoughts that Tuchel is going to change his formation and go to more of a back four, which could potentially help him if he plays more of as a number 10 rather than like one of the wide like forwards in the 3-4-3. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. With Kai Havertz, he's currently as a forward in FPL now, as is Timo Werner, both at the 8 million price bracket. Kai Havertz was good at points last season. I mean, there was the infamous kind of Havertz gate, as everyone called it, where Salah went absolutely nuclear, and if you went for Havertz, you were very unlucky, because I think everyone that started that game for Chelsea, barring Havertz, got a return because they won 7-0. Havertz did not get a goal or an assist, so you're very unlucky if you were to captain him and didn't get anything. But if you look at the last 4 matches played, 3 big chances, 3 chances created, 7 shots inside the box. These are very, very good stats for a forward. And I think that he's rightly placed as a forward. Would I like to see him come in slightly cheaper than Mason Mount? Because then there's still a little bit of a decision to be made. Because personally, I think there isn't a decision to be made, especially if Chelsea are to play Havertz out on the wing, or if they bring in an actual striker. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But one to keep an eye on potentially. I would favor Mason Mount in this situation. Now, the real game breaker is now Raheem Sterling, who's pretty much confirmed and going to be going to Chelsea. And he's the one of the kind of in-between, mid-priced, and premium midfielders at 10 million. He could be absolutely devastating at Chelsea. Chelsea create a lot of chances, cuts across the box with crosses or passes, and Raheem Sterling's very good and was very successful at Man City, tapping the ball in the back of the net. And if you look at his stats for Man City in his last 4 matches, 5 big chances, 8 chances created, 7 shots inside the box, 3.27 XGI. I mean, those stats are very, very good. Raheem Sterling could also even potentially be playing as a false 9. And someone who is very good at picking up space in the box. Maybe his finishing is a little bit to be desired for. But I think Raheem Sterling could be very, very valuable in Chelsea's team. Especially if they continue to play the 3-4-3. Because you'll have the likes of Reece James or Ben Chilwell going out on the wings, creating the width, and then Raheem Sterling can just find pockets in the box and just put the ball in the back of the net, which is what he's very good at when he has the time to be able to basically be wide open effectively, which is what he did very well at Man City. Yes, you know, there were times where he did, you know, fluff his lines a little bit, but I think he could be the one that breaks the template a little bit, because we see a lot of people going for heavy at the back, just Haaland and Salah, but if Sterling starts to become very, very prevalent and almost a must-have, he could be the one to definitely do it. And I thought I'd include him in here just because I didn't really see any more Chelsea assets that could be of any use at the moment attacking-wise. Yes, if they were to sign another striker or something like that, we could then talk about that at a later date. But I think now that it looks like he's pretty much confirmed going to Chelsea, he's definitely got to be included in the conversation, because if he plays false 9 as well, he could be absolute FPL gold in a Chelsea team that has 2 fullbacks that are playing wing-backs, and they create a boatload of chances, and Sterling is pretty good at putting the ball in the back of the net when he does receive a boatload of chances. He'll score at least one, pretty much on a game-to-game basis, and if he's playing false 9 or as just a striker, period, because he has done that for Man City as well, could be very, very interesting, and we might see some late-minute draft changes if we start seeing him line up through the center in preseason. So that's going to do it for the attacking assets, but let's see what they've done in the transfer market. We've already mentioned Sterling. What else could Chelsea do in this transfer market, which might have their summer be much more successful than a lot of the Premier League teams? So Chelsea have a lot of players that were either on their last year of their contract or out of contract altogether. Let's talk about some of the ins first, however. Raheem Sterling, as we already mentioned, £47.5 million. I think that's a very good deal for Raheem Sterling. He is only, I think, just 27, going 28 this FPL calendar year, and could be absolutely insane value for FPL at 10 million. He could be another captaincy option, potentially, if he's playing in a Chelsea team that are creating a lot of chances, which he can thrive off of. He could be absolutely electric. Now, Ronaldo is being touted around as well. I don't think this one will happen, because I don't think United are willing to sell at the moment, and they're not going to try to sell to Chelsea either. But if he does go to Chelsea, Reece James and Chilwell crossing into Ronaldo, yes please, that could be really, really good, and it wouldn't come at a very high price, probably reported around like £10 million, something nominal, because he does still have 1 year technically left on his contract, and again, these are just approximations. I think the Sterling one, as well as like the Gabriel Jesus one, were pretty much confirmed, but Ronaldo's would have to be somewhat low because of the fact that he is 37 and he has 1 year left on his deal, but that's more of a wait and see. Nathan Ake was also mentioned as well. Chelsea do need center backs, and he could be coming in as well to help bolster the defense, because the likes of Antonio Rudiger and Christensen, I'll put them into kind of one package here, both went to the 2 big clubs in La Liga on a free transfer, and that could see Chelsea's defense weaken significantly, because now you're looking at a defense that only has Malang Sarr, Thiago Silva, Azpilicueta, and Trevor Chalobah, not really filling you with too much confidence. 4 center backs for a team that plays a back 3 currently. You're looking at basically just 1 backup at the moment. So Thomas Tuchel's probably looking to get at probably 1 to 2 very, very good center backs that he could play on a regular basis if he was going to play that system. But even still, you definitely don't want the likes of, you know, your 2 main center backs being Azpilicueta and Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva does get injured from time to time, and they just, both him and Azpilicueta do tire in games, or can tire in games. They just don't have the legs like they once did. Still very good center backs are reading the game, but when you're playing in all the competitions, those legs are going to tire out quite quickly. So I think they need to strengthen there. That's kind of the big key thing there as well. And then lastly, up front, I mean, Lukaku has gone on loan, some crazy loan fee, like £10 million or something like that, for Inter Milan to pay for him. It just didn't work out at Chelsea. I mean, a lot of, if that had been a transfer to Man United, people would have been saying it's a flop, or had he gone to, you know, another team, they might have been calling it out. But I mean, they paid a boatload of money to get him at Chelsea, and he's already gone back on loan to Inter Milan. Said he was going to prove a point, and he just didn't really do that, to be honest. Although I think Lukaku was the highest goal scorer in all competitions for Chelsea this season, which is interesting. But didn't really work out. Didn't really see eye to eye with Thomas Tuchel. That may have been more of a, hey, look, we're just going to buy him because he's a very good striker, and Thomas Tuchel said he needs a striker. So, again, that's a bit of a weird one. But we'll see if Chelsea were to replace that striker with like an out-and-out goal scorer, or maybe we're going to see them reutilize Raheem Sterling as like the false 9, as we mentioned previously. But let me just think down in the comments below, where do Chelsea need to strengthen, and are you interested in Raheem Sterling now that he's made his move to Chelsea? Welcome to the Fantasy Football Scout members area, the one place that you need to be tuned into for the upcoming FPL season. It has a wide variety of resources and tools that will help improve your FPL game today. It has a bunch of different members-only articles written by some of the best FPL managers across the globe, heat maps for all the players and positions, as well as player comparison tools, which will help you see side by side who is going to be more effective for your FPL team, fully customizable stats tables powered by Opta stats, and much, much more. Use the link down in the description below so that you can get access to the Fantasy Football Scout members area today. It'll help improve your FPL game. This video has been sponsored by Manscaped, the best in male below the waist grooming. Make sure to check out manscaped.com so you can see the latest and greatest updates to their lawnmower, as well as their performance package, and much, much more for all their gadgets and gizmos to help keep your family jewels looking as shiny as ever. Make sure to use the code FLAME20 so that you can get 20% off your next Manscaped order, as well as free worldwide shipping. Go check out manscaped.com today. And that's going to do it for this episode of Team Watch Chelsea Edition. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and turn those notification bells on so that you can get the content as soon as it is readily available. Also give us a follow over on Twitter so you can keep up to date with any and all FPL news, and drop us a follow over on Twitch so you can see when we go live for our FPL streams. We'll be doing preview streams, deadline streams, and maybe potentially some other streams if they're impromptu, or I feel that the stream is required over a video and we want some live interaction. We typically do those at the beginning of the week and just before or an hour before FPL. The deadlines have surpassed, basically the normal stuff. So we'll be covering that. We'll be introducing our fantasy football scout tables as per normal. So make sure to check out the link in the description. It'll help elevate your FPL game. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, take care.